In the 1970s, a French scientific team was tasked with restoring the mummified remains of Ramesses II. What they found inside his wrappings remains one of the strangest forensic anomalies in archaeology. Deep inside the pharaoh's abdominal cavity, among the resins of embalmment, they discovered shredded leaves. These remnants were positively identified as nicotiana, tobacco, and nestled within the linen wrappings themselves, the researchers found the intact remains of an insect, specifically a tobacco beetle. This presents a serious chronological and geographic problem. Ramesses II died in 1213 BCE, but tobacco and the beetle that feeds on it are strictly indigenous to the Americas. Later forensic tests led by German pathologist Svetlana Balabanova detected heavy nicotine residues in other Egyptian mummies. The concentration levels indicated the plants were deliberately applied in high doses as an anti-putrefactant to preserve the dead. Unfortunately, the original leaf samples extracted in Paris vanished before they could be carbon dated. This leaves researchers caught in a debate. Either there was an undocumented ancient transoceanic trade route, or the mummy was contaminated by pipe-smoking archaeologists in the 19th century. Regardless of how the tobacco arrived, the presence of the beetle suggests a level of volatility in the archaeological record. It marks a significant break in the traditional narrative of an isolated Egypt, suggesting a world that was far more porous and unpredictable than it first appears. To see the scale of connectivity, we must look at the Nile Delta. Here, Ramesses constructed a massive new capital city called Pi-Ramesses. Archaeological excavations reveal a city designed for a singular purpose. Underneath the royal residences lay a massive military-industrial complex. The city housed state-of-the-art high-temperature furnaces. Hundreds of laborers worked blast pipes and poured molten metal into molds for shields and swords, right alongside enormous exercise grounds designed to train a massive chariot corps. This immense industrial effort supplied military campaigns into the Levant, most notably the Battle of Kadesh against the Hittites. This Syrian commercial choke point shows Egypt was one massive node in a high-stakes network of rival empires, entirely reliant on the international flow of goods. Pi-Ramesses served as an anchor for a hyper-connected economy, a system that tied Egypt's internal survival to the external stability of the entire Late Bronze Age world. That stability did not last. Shortly after the reign of Ramesses II, a sudden threat arrived that threatened to dismantle this entire interconnected world. Egyptian records describe an invasion by the Sea Peoples, a loose confederation of displaced seafarers originating from the Aegean, Anatolia, and various Mediterranean islands. The scale of this threat is carved directly into the walls of the mortuary temple of Medinet Habu by Ramesses III. These reliefs show that the Sea Peoples were acting as a mass migration. They brought ox carts loaded with women and children alongside their warships. As they moved eastward, they triggered a cascading network failure across the Mediterranean. Major powers like the Hittite Empire and the wealthy trade hub of Ugarit were destroyed in a rapid domino effect. Ramesses III managed to save Egypt by ambushing the enemy fleet in the mouths of the Nile, but repelling the invasion drained the empire's already strained resources. The Sea Peoples functioned as a systemic shock to a fragile, highly integrated global network. The very interconnectedness that made Pi-Ramesses so wealthy ultimately made the entire Late Bronze Age system incredibly vulnerable to collapse. In the decades following the Bronze Age collapse, the Egyptian New Kingdom fractured. The central government lost effectiveness, and the country was left isolated and impoverished. The city's decline accelerated when the eastern branch of the Nile River shifted its course, physically moving away from the capital's foundations. Without the flow of the river, the massive harbors of the capital quickly silted up. The city could no longer launch ships or receive goods, completely neutralizing its role as a military and trade hub. The Egyptians responded with a radical architectural solution. They dismantled Pi-Ramesses piece by piece, transporting its monumental statues and stone blocks downstream to construct a new capital at Tanis. Today, the former glory of Pi-Ramesses is entirely gone. The city center consists of scattered foundations buried beneath the dirt fields of the modern village of Konkir, which brings us back to the tobacco beetle and the nicotine hidden inside the mummy of Ramesses II. From the microscopic anomaly of a beetle to the industrial scale of a city moved stone by stone, The era of Ramesses II exists as a study in connectivity. It was a world of high-capacity weapon factories and fragile trade routes, an interconnected system that produced massive achievements, suffered a total collapse, and left behind evidence we still cannot fully recognize.